Melted.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yeah, welcome to Drinking Bros, kids. Whew.
It's happening.
It's happening, Danny. We went for it last night.
Yeah. No, that went to a different place than I expected very quickly.
Yeah. Whenever you're doing a live watch for something that goes like 4 or 5 hours, you don't really know until the end how far you've taken it, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was a lot of tequila.
I vaguely remember getting to the hotel.
Yeah. So for the audience, if you weren't watching the watch along last night, we have obviously Asking Alexandria's lead singer, Danny Worsnop on the show today.
Yeah.
I like to really pronounce it. Sir, it should be a sir at this point.
Sir Worsnop, yes.
Sir Worsnop.
Yeah.
It should be. You did the live watch along with us last night. Dan had gotten you some Casamigos. Mm-hmm. That was your jam. And I said, well, who wouldn't love top shelf tequila, obviously? I'm going to be real. I've made fun of it because of Clooney.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best tequilas
It's incredible. So I love the backstory because they were making it just for themselves. Because that's what you do when you have George Clooney money.
I know.
It was like him and his billionaire friends just making small batch tequila just for themselves.
Yeah.
And shipping it to their houses.
Randy Gerber's his best friend, the hotel god, married to Cindy Crawford. And like, it was him, Clooney, and then one other guy.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they were just making it for themselves.
Yeah, no, they were just making it for themselves. And then it was either the distillery or whoever was then importing it was basically like, you're bringing in a lot of this. We're pretty sure you're selling it. And they're like, no, we're just enormous alcoholics. And then they, I guess, started selling it to probably cover taxes or something.
Yep.
Blew it up, sold it for $1 billion.
$3
billion.
$3 billion. They each got $1 billion apiece. And then Clooney took out his closest friends to a dinner. I don't know if you know this story. Because on the come up, like he had some hard times in the 80s and 90s, and before ER and all that shit, like he was going at it for a while.
Yeah.
But he came up with like Richard Kind and a bunch of like these other weird people, and he took them to dinner, and he put out 12 briefcases apiece with $1 million in cash.
And he paid the taxes on it too.
Correct. Jesus, and he said, look, you guys have been with me for this whole ride. I appreciate it. Hopefully this can change your life or whatever. One of them was Randy Gerber. Randy's just like, yo, I made $1 billion off.
Yeah, I don't need your $1 million. Fuck
and that's what he said at the dinner. He goes, I don't need your fucking $1 million.
He should have burned it right in front of him.
Well, he goes, look, then give it away. I don't give a shit what you do with it, but here it is. Do whatever you want with it. So he ended up giving his to charity. Boo.
What a fucking loser.
Yeah, go out in the street.
That's it. I'm opening a charity. Daddy wants a Lambo.
What you need to, all you really need to do is make friends with Keanu Reeves, because apparently he just gives away 70% of every paycheck he gets now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, give away for the new Matrix movie, which, by the way, tanked like a month. They lost like $150 million on that movie.
Yeah, how was it?
He didn't.
Dog shit.
That's what everybody said.
I thought it was fine.
But there was a scene in the beginning. This is going to be a spoiler for everyone.
That's fine.
But it's like he's within this new world where he's created this video game company that made The Matrix, which were video games now, because that's how they're kind of keeping him locked down. And then they said they're doing a new one. He's like, I don't want to do a new one. And they're basically like, well, our owners, Warner, said they're doing it with or without
They broke the fourth wall real hard.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, they got forced into doing this. They didn't want to do it. He's telling us like, listen, this is going to be bad.
It wasn't that bad, though. It just, as a standalone movie, it's good. But it's nowhere close to the originals, obviously. It's not going to be.
Right. It was, 18 years apart?
Yeah. But at least they didn't go the way the thing that I was super concerned about is that they were going to go the same way that Bill and Ted did, which is like woke. Like, oh, it actually turns out it's their daughters that are the heroes. No, it's not, because the whole thing, they go in the first movie, they go into the future and everybody's worshiping them. Yeah. It wasn't their daughters, you stupid fuck. Yeah. Like, you completely fucked the plot line up. Although there were some funny parts, like when they fight their themselves in prison and they're all jacked up, and then the old ones, that shit was pretty funny, to be honest. Yeah. But the movie sucked. Matrix, I thought, was a fine standalone movie. If it had been the first and then the other ones had been prequels afterwards, I think people would have a much different opinion of it.
Yeah, they've set a really, really high standard for themselves that there's no way they could live up to.
Let me ask you this. Did you see it in theaters or did you watch it on streaming?
I saw that one at my house.
Okay.
That's
But
true.
what kind of situation? Because my house is like a 120-inch projector screen with like a full
Yeah,
Bose thing.
I was
So
on them little like 75 inches.
fucking pussy.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
75.
I know.
Who's using a 75 these days?
By the way, my whole setup is pretty cheap. By the way, it's not like super expensive. Anybody could do this.
Yeah, and
I'm not fucking humble bragging about my setup. I just got good deals on stuff. That's it, and it's a
Just
nice.
one little IMAX projector.
No, it's
Yeah.
not IMAX. God damn it!
it just wraps around all the walls, and you're
Anyone
like,
can do
wait
it.
a minute.
Listen, you put it on layaway. You got yourself an $80,000 projector.
I got a full on haptic suit, so I'm feeling what they're feeling.
The reason I asked if you watch it on streaming, though, is streaming is ruining residuals for actors and everything else because nobody's going to the theater, and you can't sell the product anymore. So if it's on HBO, which they own Warner Brothers, it lives there forever. So it's not like you can sell it to another, FX or something like that and make money, and then it's playing on TV.
But this one they did a split. So remember Scarlett Johansson sued, right? Mm-hmm.
I
Because
love
they
that story.
they just threw it onto HBO Max or whatever the fuck, and they did that with Wonder
was on
Woman as
Disney.
well.
Yeah.
Or on Disney Plus, yeah. But they did it with Wonder Woman and a couple of other ones on HBO too,
Yeah.
right? This one was both, and I think it was a huge failure. The studio seemed to think that no one would care enough to go to the theater. Maybe they were right about that one, but the Spider-Man movie has now broken the Titanic record.
$2 billion. It's
So
over,
they're coming up on Avatar territory now, which I didn't think anybody would ever get to, especially not Spider-Man.
And not in today's day and age,
Yeah.
because everybody wants to watch shit on streaming,
Yeah.
like you were saying at your house and everything else. And
I usually go to the movies. I love going to the movies. I usually do. But that one I was just like, I'm not that confident.
What else? Did you see Spider-Man
I saw that like last week.
in the theater though, right?
yeah, I saw it in the theater.
It's
I took
good.
my kid.
It's
I
good.
took my kid to see it.
It's good, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of ones. And actually, Holland is in a new movie that's coming out soon with like fucking Mark Wahlberg.
Really?
Have you seen that? It's like an action movie. It actually looks like it's going to be pretty good. What's it called? Uncharted. Yeah,
Uncharted,
it looks
okay.
like it's going to be pretty good.
I'm assuming that's based off the video game? Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't turn out like that Assassin's Creed movie that Michael, whatever the fuck, Fassbender did, because it was terrible. Assassin's Creed, the video games were awesome, but they tried to cram like fucking 8 hours of storyline into 90 minutes, and you just can't do it.
Yeah.
The
No,
same
you
thing they did
can't
with
do it.
Ready Player One. They like cut out super important shit.
It's hard
Jared
making
said that
a
was going
book.
to do $1 billion first week. Still
Remember that?
If they
Still
hadn't-
owes me a bunch of money, Jared.
He did a whole show.
Never paid
on
me.
it. No,
They
no.
could have done if they could have made Ready Player One like an Avatar style movie, like 2.5, 2 of 45, and it would have been great, and it would have made that amount of money. But
Have they finished the second Avatar yet?
no,
they-
but
no.
they're doing 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time.
Yeah, so they shot them back to back like
Yeah.
that, and they're having some problems, some CGI in post. I don't know anybody that wants to see that now, that it's been all these years. I wasn't that stoked on the first one, to be honest with you.
Well, it depends on what the story is, right? Now he's what's his nuts is a fucking one of those blue people, whatever the fuck they're called.
I guess it was a little too woke for me. The first
Yeah.
one, I was
What
all
do you mean
good on
woke?
it.
Woke how?
The whole thing was about the environment, and we're killing our climate and shit
Yeah,
like that.
fuck the environment.
Yeah, dude. It's like we're not fucking poor, all right? That's
Well, look, if our trees start talking to us, then I'll start paying attention.
Exactly.
But until then, shut the fuck up.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm throwing these in the normal fucking trash can today.
Single-use
I'm not-
plastics are also leading you to lose testosterone, so you should probably keep an eye on that.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Who cares? The reason I was asking about streaming.
Juice it back in.
Yeah, that's what we do.
exactly. That's what we,
Nut
that's what we do.
up.
That's what we do. For real, we take TRT. The reason I was asking about streaming, though, was T-Pain had a tweet that went viral a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, can you
Bob,
pull up that
put
graphic?
on the screen?
Trevor Painley, yes.
Is that his
Yeah.
name?
No.
That would have been awesome. So he goes, hey, what was the tweet? Just so you guys all fucking know what we're really making off of this.
It literally says, just so you know.
Yeah, just so you
ellipses,
know.
ellipses.
So we thought we would have an actual rock star on to confirm this. Streams to make $1. Amazon Music, you need 249 streams. Apple Music, you need 128. Tidal Music, 78. Napster, which I didn't know was still a thing.
I also did not know that was still a thing.
I didn't either. 53. That's
It's
that's
not bad.
No, that's 2 cents a copy.
I've never heard of Deezer.
I think our
Deezer's big
podcast
overseas.
is on Deezer. Yeah, and
Deezer's
I think-
big overseas.
I think our podcast is on Deezer actually. at 156. Pandora is 752.
YouTube obviously is the worst.
Oh my God,
And not
dude.
only is it 1,250 streams to get $1,
Mm-hmm.
they're probably in that process of 1250 times what it would cost, about 2 cents to advertise on that. They're making a lot of fucking money.
Do you notice also, ironically,
Spotify is 315.
Yeah. You notice, ironically, on the list, the bigger the platform, the less they pay you.
Yes.
Even though there are more people.
And how do you get away with that is what I don't really get.
So there's some really nasty shit going on too, because some of them, not all, but some of them, keep going back and forth into court to try and pay less.
Oh, really?
They're trying to argue the rights to pay artists less
Yeah.
than that as well.
Well, I can tell you my insider info with Spotify. Spotify said they wanted to be the Netflix of podcasts, and they want to get out of music altogether.
Yeah, you told me about this on the cruise.
Yes, and they want to get out of music altogether because they said the royalties are just insane that they have to pay, and they don't want to do it anymore. And they said if we could just switch this entire platform to podcasts, it'd be great for us. Fuck the musicians, essentially.
Yeah.
But where is this money really coming from then? If you're, because like I'm sure you get it all the time. Like, you know, you've been in a huge band for years and years and years at this point. I'm sure you get aspiring musicians that come up to you and say, hey, man, I really want to fucking make it. How much are you making, man? You must be rich. You must be fucking loaded. What do you say to them, knowing that these are the numbers?
Yes, I am. But no, it's really disheartening, and it's difficult to navigate, and I feel like we're still even trying to figure out how to operate within those places. I have a theory though, because I think these guys are trying to pay less and less and less. I think artists taking the shit end of that is kind of like a collateral damage for them. I don't think that they're actually trying to fuck the artist. And I could be completely fucking wrong with this. They might be the devil. But I think they're trying to kill the record label. Because they're trying, my theory is the same as they just did with Joe Rogan, giving him a bunch of money, and now he's exclusive on Spotify. I think they want to become the record label.
Well, the record labels are hedging now because they're just buying the catalogs of old retired performers.
Right.
Not even retired ones.
Yeah, some of them are
No,
retired.
John Legend just sold
John
last
Legend,
week. He's 42,
But it's
3?
not just the record companies doing that. TV networks are doing it as well, right? Who is it that just paid Judge Judy $450 million for her catalog?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then gave her like a $40 million a year deal for a new show.
Nobody's
as
richer
well,
than Judge Judy
right?
in
No,
Hollywood.
she's the richest person. In television.
They're also trying to do it, all the artists are trying to do it now before Biden fucks up everyone's capital gains taxes.
Yeah.
That's why I did it.
They're
Yeah.
trying. They're
Danny, I
trying.
want to ask you a question about that because it's really interesting. You said these streaming companies want to become the record label.
Yeah.
Is that both like good and bad for like
Yes.
self-distribution of like young artists having a giant platform they can get on? It takes away the gatekeepers of the record label, but now makes the streaming services the gatekeeper.
Well, you'll still be able to be on all of them. You'll get smaller rates. They'll be better than that, or they'll probably be that, but a record label isn't taking half of it. And half is a good record deal.
right, 50-50 split.
Yeah, that's like a really good one.
And that's
That's
usually
about as
because-
good as you're ever going to get.
Because the record label, quote unquote, gives you money for touring, gives you money for
Yeah, they're a
ads,
really
and gives you-
videos.
They're
yeah.
a really shit bank. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just a bank with infinite royalties on everything you do for forever. But I see it being a good thing because it'll give the streaming platforms a reason to push the artist then onto users of the platform.
Okay. So
Like, they'll be a billion-dollar artist.
Yeah, the way you're describing it is very similar to independent publishing on Amazon.
Yes.
For writers, because we had Dexter Pitts on the show the other day. He was promoting his new book, I Am Pitts, and he was asking about the fees and you know whether or not you should go to a publisher. No, unless the advance is massive from a publisher. All of that money goes to you through Amazon, and now that Amazon owns Audible, you get to keep all of that if you're able to do the book on your own. And the difference is, like, I was looking at residuals maybe a week and a half ago from a book with Penguin versus independent of what you were getting paid. Audiobook, which are massive now. If you do it yourself and you post it on Amazon and you know it goes out to Audible and iTunes and all that other shit, they just do it for you. It's just an MP3 upload. Once you record it and you're good to go, you're getting anywhere from $7 to $10 a copy because they have like bounties in case you bring in new people and all that shit, and it's great. My residuals from Penguin were $1.50 per audiobook, and it's just an MP3. Once you upload it, that's it. So like, what the fuck are you like?
They're not actually doing anything. So they want to provide, and this is the same thing you see out of labor unions as well. They want to continue collecting the same amount of dues, but provide no service.
Yeah.
Because it used to be they would get you on the radio. They would market your material in digital and shit like that. Now they don't do any of that. They just want their scrape.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck, bro?
And
You
Amazon
didn't do anything. Actually.
Amazon's still taking 60%, which is fucking absurd. For distributing a PDF for the books and then
For hosting it on a server.
that's it.
That's just it.
That's it, which is nuts to me. But I didn't think about it in the way that you described it with a Spotify and things like that. Like, yeah, I guess if you're independent, then you don't have to pay the label. The label can't charge exorbitant fees and all that other shit. Did I hear you say you sold your catalog?
Yes.
You did already. Holy shit! Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're a young dude.
Yeah.
How was that possible?
We sold a lot of records.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity brought to us, and it was like, keep collecting royalties on these, which would be great. Mm-hmm. Or set it out for a much bigger number.
Time value of money, right?
Yeah.
So $100 now is worth more than $1,000 10 years from now.
Right.
Because you can invest that money and get an exponential return on it. This is something about economics that people, the general public they don't teach it in high school for some reason. I have no idea why. But $1 in your pocket right now is worth more than 10 5 years from now. 10 a year from now even.
Yeah, and look, I understand why people are doing it, but it's crazy that it's getting younger and younger and younger. Where I don't know, how old were you when you guys started Asking Alexandria?
I was 17 when we got on a plane here.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
And is that a decision where you sit down with the band? Because I'm sure somebody was just like, man, we could get more money.
Yeah, I mean, big picture, we would get more money just in terms of the number itself by not selling it, because we take those royalties until we die. Mm-hmm. But selling it, obviously, they usually calculate it somewhere between 10 and 20 years worth of whatever you're currently getting.
Okay.
But my mind was in the same place. I was like, I can do a lot more with that money lump sum right now. I can turn that into a lot more money than just getting it in increments over time.
Yeah, of course.
And those increments could get bigger. Like, say $10 now, that might end up being $10,000 in a few years, depending on how the career goes. I mean, fingers crossed we're in a position where that's happening. Someone else gets the check now.
Yeah.
But it's also that security of like, cool, I can invest that and never work a day in my life.
Oh, that's
I
great.
could just retire.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it, dude. That's awesome. How many billions of streams do you guys have on Spotify? Do you ever check?
I think on Spotify, we're past 1 billion.
Okay.
But I don't think we hit 2 billion yet.
Okay.
I think across platforms we have, but just within Spotify, I think it's one and change.
Okay, because there was some surprising numbers I saw from this T-Pain thing that came out. Eminem's total got leaked on Spotify. He's making between 15 and 18 million a year just off of streams on Spotify alone,
That's with that tiny fucking number.
That is insane to me. How many people are still listening to Eminem? Yeah. When's the last time he had a decent album out?
I mean, the last time I even knew he was releasing music was when he was doing the MGK beef.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's got the painted on beard, yeah.
He's still got the painted on beard.
Oh, he still has
really,
it?
it's not painted on. It's just kind of a shitty beard, and he dyes it black, which is not a good look.
No, especially being that white.
Guys, Till I Collapse from Eminem has 1.2 billion plays on Spotify.
Whew. That's a great song, man.
What song is that?
Till I Collapse. Till I Collapse.
It's on every
song?
fucking gym playlist.
Is that
Yes,
it?
forever. Forever. Yeah.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Till the lights go out, whatever the fuck.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a good song.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
But 1 billion fucking... Yeah, so he's still destroying it just off of Spotify.
And see, this is why I think Spotify want to be the label, because if they can have Eminem, you can't go to listen to Eminem on iTunes, you can't go to YouTube, you can't go to Amazon, you have to go to Spotify. So you need a Spotify fucking membership to listen to him.
Yeah.
Or Taylor Swift, or Ed Sheeran. And there'll be $1 billion artist where it's one of these enormous names who are just untouchable. It'll be Ed or Adele or Taylor or someone. But it'll be like, your music for forever is here. And if you want to listen to that, you listen to that here.
Yeah. God, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a weird time we're in, because you're not buying albums anymore.
No, and it's such a transitional place as well because no one really knows what's happening. For the last 10 years, it has been. I mean, 10 years ago there was nothing.
Yeah.
Like streaming wasn't mentioned in record deals.
No, not at all. Same with Hollywood, by the way. It wasn't mentioned in residuals for actors or anything like that. It was just an afterthought of like, oh, cool, that we don't think the internet's real.
I can't imagine why you would go to a record label at all at this point.
So there's a few reasons because this is what we just signed a new record deal with a new label, Better Noise, and they're being incredible thus far. We contemplated just going independent, but really with a record label, what you're doing now, besides getting a really shitty loan, is you're using their marketing and radio potential that they have.
Gotcha.
So Alan Kovac, head of Better Noise, he's the radio guy.
Yeah.
And he also, when all these labels were fighting against all the streaming platforms, he was like, this might actually be a thing. So he went and just made deals with them all. While everyone else is trying to sue them and fight them, he's like, let's make a deal.
Yeah.
So he gets better rates for his artists than the other labels do. Because he kind of embraced it right in the go while everyone else is pissed at
So
them.
basically, it's like Stamps.com where they bundle a bunch of small businesses together to get a better shipping rate.
Yeah.
He's just doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. But that's not really what you think of when you think of record label either.
No.
Right? So is it even fair to call it that at this point? I mean, I guess technically it's the same thing, but they're providing an entirely different service than before. Well, to some degree at least.
I mean, it's a giant marketing company.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's always been.
Yeah.
People just didn't think of it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is kind of bizarre. I think it's the reason Ice Cube, if you've seen Straight Outta Compton, you've seen some of it, but if you read the doc on that and all the shit he went through with his record label after he left NWA, they fucked him over hard on his first 2 albums.
Yeah, people get fucked real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you realize out of the gate that it's just a marketing company, then you know how to negotiate with them. Like, if it's a company that's doing all of your shit, then 60-40 split their way probably sounds okay. But if it's a marketing company, it should be 70-30 your way, right?
Yeah.
That should be what it is in most deals. I just think people weren't educated to that fact. Luckily now, there's so much of this stuff just happening.
It's also
Right?
now so with social media
Yeah, on
and
Twitter.
how a lot of these young guys are able to figure it out and manipulate
Yeah.
it. They have no need for a record label
Right.
at all.
Yeah,
I think,
the
I think it's
guy-
like a pocket of your career where a record label is really, really useful. In the beginning,
Yeah.
don't bother. They're not going to do anything for you because you haven't made them enough money. You're not pulling in enough money for it to be worth the investment for them. They're not going to pump $1 million into your marketing because no one knows who you are yet. They have no idea if they're going to
The
get
music
it back.
video thing is probably a big deal too for a label, right?
Yeah.
If they're gonna,
Yeah,
they're
but
gonna-
look
if they're
at how
gonna
shitty
finance it.
YouTube's fucking numbers are.
I know.
for YouTube, yeah, for sure. But like
1,250 streams.
It's not even just about the streaming revenue you make. It's about sending them to somewhere else, right? To like, or it's a what do you call it? Planting a flag. Like, this is my music. Here's the cool visuals to go behind it. You can see what the people look like. That helps you brand other stuff. Like if you were to say make a booze, right? And you needed some, like Conor McGregor, proper 12. Conor McGregor, proper 12. It didn't just happen.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
because he carried it around everywhere he went. People know what his fucking face looks like.
The Rock's doing it with that Terramana.
Yeah.
It's fucking everywhere.
And
right now.
and his energy drink, Zoa.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that guy. He just keeps getting richer. Have you had his tequila yet?
Yeah, it's not great.
Is it really? The Casamigos I liked. That's the first time I had that last
Casamigos
night.
is the only like celebrity tequila thus far. Stay tuned. That is like it's worth the money.
Yeah, it was good.
Everything else is literally just people trying to get into the liquor business because they know there's money there. And they know it's really easy to convert their fans into selling bottles of liquor.
Yeah, it's interesting. Snoop's got like 2 different wines with 21, and I mean they're not bad.
Yeah, the 21 Crimes is great.
He had nothing to do with any of it.
No.
Right? I don't think that Snoop even drinks wine, probably, right?
I don't
He doesn't
know.
seem like a cab guy.
No. And
But either way, people fucking that grew up listening to his music are going to go buy it because it's got fucking a cool label.
And it was an established brand
Yeah,
before it got out. And I remember seeing his full disclosure. I remember seeing his photo on a bottle of 21 Crimes.
Yeah.
And I bought it to go to a Christmas party just because I thought it was funny. And it was like, because murder was the case, and you can use your phone on it and get the whole story of it.
That
And
whole
I was
marketing
like,
thing was incredible.
fucking awesome.
And
Yeah, it
he
was good.
he did it good though, because he didn't try and go, here's my top shelf alcohol. There's $85 a bottle, and it's hot dog water.
Yeah, no, it's like $14 at HEB.
He's priced it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's priced it right. But I think a lot of celebrities get into that, and just a lot of the companies people start. It's literally just money grabs. They don't care about the product. They have no passion
We
within that
care
arena.
about ours.
Yeah.
Because ours comes out next month. Hard Seltzer.
Bill Schofield says most wine sales is all about label marketing. That's 100%
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
And it's because there's such a high barrier to entry. There's so many different wines. Like you're not going to go, if you even just go to H-E-B down the street here and you go look at the wine section, there's like 400 different bottles for every single grape, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not going to stand out in that crowd unless it's fucking visual.
And the other part about it is when you're there, and you're grabbing a bottle of wine, if it's not for yourself and you're going to a party, you want to get a picture that doesn't look cheap. So you don't show up with this cheap bottle of wine. So you're like, all right.
I'm pretty sure every single bottle of wine I've ever bought has been based off the label.
Yeah.
People that aren't like, people that don't know a lot about wine, that's the 100% how they fucking choose their wines. 100%.
Yeah.
Just because it looks cool.
Last time you were on the show was right when the pandemic hit, essentially. And you had told the audience, you said, hey, talk to my manager. We're not going to be able to tour until fall of 2021. Yeah, 21. You were dead on the money. I thought you were crazy.
Even Live Nation was still saying, like, it'll probably be summer this year. I'm like, not a fucking chance.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they had just built all those new venues in 19.
Well, they don't want their stock nosediving.
Yeah. But you were dead on the money.
Yeah.
How did you know that far in advance? Because you're the only one I heard it from.
Because people are giant, stupid dickheads, and I've observed this, and I knew exactly that they're just gonna milk it. They're gonna tank everything they can. I'm curious as to when the Live Nation stock went and the AG stock.
Like, how much did Live Nation board members buy of their own stock after that? Yeah, that's a good question. It's also a good question of what the markup is on all the new administrative stuff, right? So the new health advisors that have to travel with the band and shit to make sure you're following all the rules and all this stupid shit. Like, they might be making $85,000 a year, but the company is billing it, right? The part that they're billing is probably like $150.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably double or approaching double of what that is, and that's just free money. That's like mob style markups.
Oh, yeah.
It's nonsense.
What's the largest crowd you've played for since the pandemic?
I think we did about probably smaller than usual, but it was probably around like 25 to 30,000.
Ah, shit.
That's
That's
still
not bad
pretty
at
good,
all. Yeah.
But this is in a giant field where ordinarily it'd be like 60.
Yeah, 60, yeah.
Where were you at?
That was there was one in there was a couple. It was the festivals.
Okay.
I forget which ones we did.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Mostly Midwest.
Okay. Yeah, because every time we go out and see you somewhere, it feels like you don't know what city that is.
No. Very rarely.
You should just say hello, Cleveland, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do say the wrong city.
On purpose, yeah. Just to fuck with them?
Yep.
Did you see, I actually saw a meme earlier today, and it's a guy who lives right near the airport in Milwaukee, right? Like right near the airport. You have to fly over his house pretty much anywhere to get in, and he's got a big-ass house, and he put "Welcome to Cleveland" on. That's perfect. He painted it on his roof just to fuck with people flying by. That is a level of petty trolling that I wanted. It's life goals for me. Right?
Oh, yeah, huge. You know what else is life goals?
Ghostbed.
Ghostbed. Ghostbed.com
Seamless transition.
Drinkin Bros.
Seamless.
You're welcome. If you have a ghost bed with an adjustable base, which is 40% off, it's called a bundle package, that means you're rich. You are living a life of luxury.
You made it.
You made it.
You have arrived, my friend.
And if you say to yourself, I can't afford that, they just put a 60-month pay-as-you-go program. It's like $20 a month.
They did what?
Yes.
How are they affording to do this?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
That's a
I
good
don't
question.
know.
We actually don't know how they afford to do any of this stuff.
No, I have no idea. I have a call with them tomorrow. And I have no idea. I'm going to ask him. I'm like, hey, how the fuck you guys doing this? Okay? They got a new weighted blanket out. They got new pillows out. Best in the business. If you don't want to live in luxury, you don't want the adjustable base and the mattress, you can get 30% off singular items. So if you just want the mattress or the sheets or that weighted blankets, boom, congratulations. You can get 30% off of everything in the entire store when you go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. 60-month pay-as-you-go program if you have decent credit. If you have a 410, You had Delco credit, and you got it, right? Yeah. So
it's anybody
he's all right.
anybody with an exposed gold chain, if they can get credit there, you can get credit there. That's how it works here in America.
I think he's wearing silver today.
Oh, it's silver?
Yeah,
Mixing
silver
it up.
today,
Mixing it up, yeah.
That's nice.
I like the mixed metal look sometimes, yeah. It's nice.
Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros today and hop on these deals. Next up, drinkinbros.com. All of our merch is there. Dan's got the Defund Politicians hoodie on, American Party hats. I've got the Drinkin' Bros hat, the new $40 hats. They're all flex fits.
I've got a
These are nice.
I've got a new idea for a shirt. It says paying taxes is a social construct. Do you think that plays?
Maybe.
Will people understand what that means?
I think people are. It might be a little.
It's a lot
over
of
the head.
words.
It might
It's a
be a
lot of
little over the
words,
head. But go to the store is stocked. Go to drinkinbros.com. Peruse the catalog and get whatever you want. And also we're locking in a live show for the Seltzer launch next month for the Super Bowl. I got a call about that tomorrow as well with at WTF. And we're thinking about doing an all-day Super Bowl party for the Seltzer launch, and you can get in on it because we're not going to Los Angeles.
No, we're not.
Have you been to Los Angeles in a while?
Not in a minute, but I'm supposed to go this weekend, I believe.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
You can't go indoors anywhere.
You got to mask up, bro.
No, you got to fucking get shot.
That's right. Are they asking for vax cards?
If it's anything over like 1,000 people, I think, then you have to have a vaccine.
I do, unless I'm getting paid, I do not go to places with 1,000 people.
Right, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. What are you doing out there? You going to see the label?
No, they're not even based. They're in New York, which is just as bad. But no, I've got a couple meetings out there for some new stuff going on. Just trying to save the music industry.
He's getting
Are you?
He's getting a Danny Worsnop sex doll made.
Yes.
Right.
Great.
Life
Great.
size.
I'd write it. I'd write it.
Comes with Drinkin' Bros condom on it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one right now. They're so comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really nice. I mean, you can wear it all day and not
Yeah.
even notice.
And you said you wear it in the front and the back, just in case.
Front and the back.
Yeah.
You never know.
You
Always
never
be
know.
prepared.
Somebody's going to
Always be prepared.
poke on in through the back door.
It's a butthole diaphragm, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we were talking about Rocky Dale Davis before we got on and his
Yeah.
giant asshole.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's a guy who's susceptible to rape pretty often.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, if you can just slide right in there, you're in danger all the time.
Yeah.
He talked about getting pegged by his girlfriend when he was on the show a few weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. You ever been pegged?
I've not been pegged.
Because it looked like you'd be down for whatever, you know?
I feel like I have a line, and it's somewhere around there.
It's somewhere right around my asshole.
Yeah. It's just that whole part of my body. Just avoid that bit. Just
Yeah.
avoid
Yeah.
that part of my body. Not just for my comfort, but for yours too. Just
Obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, you're taking on
I had a lot of red meat.
you're taking on a lot of responsibility going towards my asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Responsibility that is presumed shared on my part, and I don't want that responsibility. So
I don't want to be liable.
Yeah, you need comprehensive butt insurance.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah. Well, I'll look into that with a life
Yeah.
insurance guy.
Yeah.
We'll ask him about it. What are you doing to save the music industry out there?
Me and a good friend of mine just looking to open up something that kind of resembles a record label, but is more kind of a development thing where we can kind of help young artists and starting out artists kind of figure out their brand and their sound and basically piece all those beginning
yeah.
parts of their career up for them with both recording and production and songwriting and photo shoots, video shoots, all that stuff.
It's a big deal because, like, the guy that we were talking about earlier that we were listening to in the car,
Yeah.
my buddy in Nashville, I talk to him all the time. He still has, like, a regular job. His music is fucking incredible. He writes everything, plays the instruments, records, and then edits all that. He does everything, right? But it's not enough just to be able to do that unless you get lucky and get traction somewhere. And I'm like talking to him like, what is it going to take for you just to do this full time? He goes, I don't know, man. We could get by on like fucking $3,000 a month, to be honest. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like if you could just get a little help, this dude will be sensational somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And no one teaches you the music industry. You kind of it's a very learn on the job kind of thing. And it takes a lot of years of making mistakes and being fucked over and learning the hard way a lot.
It's like it's
to
kind of like
figure it out.
it's
So if
kind of
we
like
can-
Major League Baseball where your first contract is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And hopefully you get a good second contract. Usually an artist's best work is one of their first couple of albums, right? Like what is that saying? You've got your whole life to write your first album and 18 months to write your second one or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And it's true.
It is, yeah. And but if you write your first album and it's a fucking banger, but not enough people see it, then you don't have 18 months to write your next one. You've got no time, right?
No.
And you've made no money off of like your life's work up to that point. That kind of sucks.
And it doesn't live very long anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you're going to be putting out an album a year, that's good. Like you should be aiming for that. I mean, albums are even at the point where they're almost fucking redundant anyway.
Yeah, but there's
you-
so many
you-
singles off of them.
Well, you released like 4 singles in a row before the album came out, right?
Yeah.
On the last one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we've always wanted to do, and it was always kind of, well, that's not how it works. Like, well, how it's working isn't fucking working.
Yeah, who the fuck says something like that in 2020 or when that happened, or I guess it was late 2019, but who says something like that these days? Like, oh, that's not how it works. Like,
It's
fuck, who gives a shit how it
It's
works?
because all these older guys in the music industry are convinced they know how it works. But the real truth of it, which no one likes to fucking admit, is nobody fucking knows how this industry works.
Yeah, speaking of which, we got a guy in the chat here, Sam Mizadra. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. Hey, Danny, been a fan for as long as I can remember of Asking Alexandria. What's the best way that people can support bands since streaming doesn't pay dick? That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, it completely depends on the individual artist and how they've got their shit set up. Merchandise has obviously always been a great thing. Some people have sold their merch rights, so the record label gets a bunch of that too, though.
Yeah, because it's basically they use that one of those company instead of going to find their own merch company to do their shit, they just use like one of those fucking
Yeah.
print and ship places that you don't make any fucking money off that.
Yeah.
Right. With you, before we were getting on air, you were talking about Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, yeah.
And how much money they're
Zoltan
churning out.
Zoltan is a fucking
He's a
marketing
genius.
genius.
He's an
one of the
absolute
best in
genius.
the entire music industry. He's one of the best.
What is it about them that has made them so huge?
I think a big part of it is they represent a large part of the country that aren't usually represented in music so forwardly and so vocally.
You mean people that aren't pussies?
Yeah, smart people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who like look at stuff and go, I have questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is rare. I've seen a lot of ads for them on Facebook as well.
Yep.
They utilize that a lot.
Use
And
everything.
it's crazy.
They
Yeah.
do everything. They've got a Black Rifle coffee roast.
They sell,
That's right.
They sell ad spots on their staging, and they wear like the motocross shirts and stuff, and there'll be ad spots on them. Like they have figured it out, and they've found ways to kind of beat the system that is the music industry, where they're not a band. They're a corporation.
corporation.
It's like Black Rifle is not a coffee company. They happen to, because they're all coffee nerds, they happen to make really good coffee, but they are a marketing company that happens to sell coffee. But
Yeah.
that's been one of the rules in marketing forever. That's where the phrase widget came from. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Like it is imperative that you produce a quality product, and you can only succeed for a short time if your product sucks. But if your marketing is good and you have a good product, you can go pretty much forever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter what the product is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they figured it out. Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the music even, but they're fucking smart as shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It's fascinating getting to sit down and talk to them. I was with Zoltan a month or so ago, and he was talking me through stuff they have in the pipeline and stuff they're working on, and even just things he's thinking about, and he watches everything. He has his eyes on absolutely everything.
Musically or just in pop culture?
Just
Yeah.
in culture, society,
Okay,
politics,
yeah.
economy, everything, all over the world. So he's 5 steps ahead of everyone else all the time.
That's what I try to do waking up every morning, so I don't enter a conversation that nothing bothers me more than when people are talking about something that I don't know about, where
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck is this? I'll try to listen to any new album that comes out, fucking read everything I can, all that other shit. Sam also said I pronounced his name right. So he gave
Dope.
me $2 for that.
Congratulations.
So I'm amped on that. That being said, there isn't that much new music that's coming out. I just listened to the Weeknd's album a couple days ago that just came out. I don't know if you're a fan of his or not. I'm not.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah. People are trying to bill him as the next Michael Jackson. That's a fucking stretch for me.
There is no next Michael Jackson.
I don't think so
Like
either.
there was no. Well, I for a while I thought there was no next Michael Jordan, but Kobe Bryant was the next Michael Jordan. But I don't know if there will ever be another player like that. That was a coincidence that somebody came along that played the same style, was also successful like that. But you don't see people come along and repeat a style like that that's so unique. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Because that's why the first person was so huge to begin with.
Yeah.
No one could do what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the weird thing is looking at musicians now, right? You're still waiting for. I get the Weeknd crush, I guess, but and people like the album. I'm not that big of a fan, so it's just kind of, all right, cool, man. That sounded like the other 7 albums, like whatever. But like Taylor Swift is still fucking destroying, obviously. Post Malone was the shocking one. I don't know if you saw the article this morning where his manager said this album has been done, but the label refuses to release it. In an issue like that, with a guy who's selling that many gajillions of albums, what's the problem? I heard a rumor behind the scene.
That sounds like, because of the success he's already had, they're trying to renegotiate terms of the contract that's already in place, where he's like, listen, I'm doing all of this. I want my masters, or something along those lines. And the label's just pushing back. And of course they want the masters. That's where all the money is.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I didn't know if they just didn't like the album, because that was what I had heard
They wouldn't give a fuck.
Really?
They probably don't.
Post Malone could come out with 10 tracks of him taking a shit.
They don't care what it sounds like. They care if it sells.
Yeah.
That's
and they know it's going to sell.
Because I wonder, like, you take a Billie Eilish. I remember when she came out with her first album, and it was, just fucking massive, right? Yeah. I remember watching that doc. Did you watch the Billie Eilish doc? Yeah, it was really fucking good.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, I was like, man, the brother seems super fucking talented.
Yeah.
Can she sustain this or whatever? And then the second album wasn't that great to me. How does that work from behind the scenes? Like, I imagine you get that huge, and it's all just fucking yes men at that point, right? Nobody's going to tell you your music sucks. Has anybody ever told you, like, hey, man, this Asking Alexandria album sucks?
I tell him every day.
Yeah.
I text him every morning, like, hey, your entire life is a fucking joke.
Have you seen the YouTube comment section?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
but
read them.
you can't-
I don't read them.
you
I
can't-
don't read them
anymore.
You can't use a YouTube comment section for a basis for anything, because it's like there's a video about a dude putting a bicycle together, and somebody's in the comments like, fucking Puerto Ricans. Fuck you talking about?
These are
dude? It's
really angry people.
yeah,
Go to
like, what the hell are you talking about?
Our previous record label, we'd done an album, and they said, this is the worst thing you've ever done, and if you put this out, this is career suicide.
No fucking way.
That was the verbatim.
Was it the last album?
No, the one before.
No shit. How did it do?
It did great.
Okay.
Yep, outsold. It was out for like 6 months, and it had outsold. It outsold our second record, which was when we started doing all like the late night stuff. That was when it really blew up. So it outsold that inside 6 months, and that record's been out 10 years.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's great. And what do you go back to that guy and say, hey man, fuck you?
I don't go back to that guy. I go back to that guy and anything.
I would just send something in the mail and just be like, hey, remember what you said to me?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. That one did all right.
Here's $1 million in a briefcase.
Send a photocopy of the gold record, but in the background it's like a picture of your beanbag or something.
Well, here's the problem with getting our record plaques and stuff. They would do that and send them to us. So there's no way we're ever seeing that.
Yeah.
Really? They're not even paying for that.
You should just get your own made like that. Ross had that trophy made over there. His son is 6 years old and played soccer.
Yeah.
Is that what that's from?
Oh, yeah.
That's-
I coached
that's
his
for
team
the-
to a championship in
That's
soccer.
for the coach.
Yeah.
Like the coach, and typically speaking, the coach doesn't get a trophy, and the kids get little ones like this. He made them bigger trophies, but made that one for himself.
I made them World Cup replica trophies. No lie.
It's grotesque.
And I went into the trophy shop, and the guy was like, hey, dude, is this for you? And I go, yeah. I mean, I haven't given you the inscription yet, but you're gonna understand. It says for a coach, I think a father and a lover on there. Yeah.
Which is appropriate for a fucking pee-wee soccer team.
Yeah. It was. I coach young men to become champions. Okay.
Yeah.
They were 6 years old, and they were God's children.
You're lucky
team
that
of
they're all
destiny.
kicking the ball in the same direction, to be honest.
No. It was all my guidance, and we won.
Benny
We won the
Canuck
championship.
asks thoughts on Falling in Reverse Zombified. I don't know if I've heard that song, but I do like that.
Came out a
band.
couple days ago. It's absolutely crushing.
I love Falling in Reverse.
They are currently at number 1. We're at number 2. They are one play ahead of us.
Oh, really?
Go play.
I love Ronnie. I think he's another one, just a marketing genius. He can anything that dude touches turns to gold. It's incredible.
I like that band.
And if I'm going to be second to anyone, I would like it to be one of my friends. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. But
Are you cool with all these other bands too? Because a lot of people always
Most.
ask that as well.
most. There's some giant tool bags out there, but
Let's name them all now. And ruin any
how
chance.
long's this episode gonna be?
It can be as long as you want, Danny. You know?
Honestly, most of them are just giant dorks, or there's a bunch of people who just have their head up their ass. I think the same with any industry. And you guys have seen it a million times. Just people who are really convinced they're hot shit 'cause they've had 5 minutes of fame or not even yet. And it's like, slow down, dude. You just got here.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Listen, I'm not an old guy, but I've been doing this quite a long time now. Like I'm well more than a decade deep. Like I'm gonna slow your roll a little bit.
When's your next tour?
Our next tour, we're supposed to do Europe in
That's not happening.
March
Europe
31
isn't
supposed to be
opening,
day one. Yeah, me and my manager don't think that's happening. But we are planning a headliner after that. It is a co-headliner. I'm probably not allowed to announce it yet, so I'm not going to say the band. But we're working on that. That's going to be stateside. I just got the dates for that like yesterday.
When you get a co-headliner like that, how much input do you have? And do you call and say, look, I'm friends with these people or I'm not friends with these people and I don't want to do it? Or is it more about the money of like, all right, I think they would draw a great crowd along with us and I'll be willing to put up with their bullshit?
It has to be a bit of both.
Okay.
Because you don't want to... It really sucks going on tour with people that you just do not fucking like. Because regardless of how distant you can keep, your dressing rooms are right next to each other. Like you are gonna be around these people and in their presence a lot for like 8 weeks. And realistically, especially if it's a co-headliner, you're going in like a business partnership. So you're actively working with them. And it's got to be people that you can, at the very least, tolerate.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be a bunch of, like, 19, 20-year-olds who've just got into the business and they're going to run around just being blackout drunk, smashing stuff all the time because, like, you know, they're just a liability.
Yeah.
Like, I was young. We did all the stupid shit. Yeah. I'm in my 30s now. This is a business, and we're gonna do it together and make a bunch of money and give people an incredible night of entertainment. But I'm not getting a shitty reputation because of you.
Yeah. How's your writing process, by the way? The reason I bring this up, I watched that Beatles doc. I talked about it with my wife earlier this morning. I think we talked about it late last night at some point, off of a bottle of tequila together. What's the writing process for Asking Alexandria?
It is usually Ben sits and writes a bunch of music. I don't write before I go in. I don't even like hearing it before I go in.
Okay.
So they'll kind of figure out all of the instrumental part, and then I'll be sat in front of the microphone, listen to it for the first time, and freestyle what comes, and then just fill in the gaps. And I'll record and write at the same time. So it's usually the version that's released is take 1, 2, or 3 that I've ever sang.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire and Flesh is asking, Danny, what's your price tag to get you on a track as a guest vocalist? It's a great question.
Steep.
Is it?
It depends on the project. I don't do it too much lately, obviously, because we've put in so much time and work into Asking and kind of building that up, especially with the new label. But it depends on the project. I think.
Well, we're writing a gay country album.
Yeah, you're down for that. Okay, cool.
I'll pay you. Yeah, it completely depends. I mean, when it's friends, it's obviously a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can be anywhere from a few $1,000s to many thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because I remember at one point, I think it was Matt was looking at getting Snoop Dogg. I think it was like 10 or 15. It wasn't that bad.
That's very cheap.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad at the time. This was maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So who knows?
I'm north of that, and I'm not Snoop Dogg.
Well, but here's the thing. He didn't get any money from that death row shit at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. He recently did a podcast. I forget whose it was.
Was he getting Snoop to hear the song and like rap something on it, or was he just getting a verse that you can purchase? Because I know like they have a bunch of pre-recorded stuff rappers have that you can just buy for your
No
beats.
shit. Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Like
The producers do the same thing. Like rappers just buy beats from random producers.
Well, that I know, but any beat
That
you
makes
can at least
sense.
rap around. Yeah.
No,
Like-
my friend had a Gucci Mane track, and it was given to a producer who like recorded all the vocals for him one day, and he threw him a couple that he was never going to use, and then he sold those to a producer later.
That's crazy.
No shit.
Why not?
That's wild. Yeah, but Snoop Dogg was telling the story where he was at death row and he did Doggy Style, The Chronic, all that shit, and he'd written, and he goes, dude, I've never seen a fucking dime from it.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it's especially within the pop and hip hop world. A lot of times, that's because they've taken a really big advance, not understanding what an advance is. It's like, take a $20 million advance and expect to never see a check.
Yeah.
Because you're still paying that off. That's debt now.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a big bill that comes along with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really difficult one to balance as an artist, because obviously you want that big money up front.
Yeah.
But you're never going to fucking see any money for a long time afterwards. And when you get that really big check, it's really fun to go spend that big check.
Yeah.
And people go buy cars and houses and expensive jewelry and shit, and then they're like, cool, let's make some money. It's like, you're not seeing any money for a few years, dude.
Yeah, no.
You've just blown the next 3 years of salary right now.
Yeah, you just fucking destroyed it.
So, I mean, we try to take just what it's going to cost to make the record and then pay that off right away and just be to making money.
Got it. Yeah, because with that fucking Beatles doc, and we were talking about it last night, I wonder who was paying for all of that. Like, I mean, it was just fucking...
Oh,
the time that was wasted in all of that financially
money.
was...
Don't even care.
Yeah. Right? They didn't give a shit,
Kind
right?
of fuck. So much, like, there's obviously it's scalable. Like, if we were going to go do something and it was going to cost a couple $100 to just fucking waste a bit of time, it's like, whatever, it's a couple $100. But that scales. These guys are bringing hundreds of millions of dollars. What's an extra 20 grand?
Yeah, what's an extra 20K?
Doesn't matter. It literally does. You don't even see it.
You ever had a Yoko show up for you? Where they're just sitting there the entire time? If you haven't seen
Kind
this
of.
doc,
Yeah. Kind of.
what do you do? Is there a band meeting where you're like, dude, get the fucking girls out of here?
Until I saw that, everybody obviously knows the reference to Yoko, but I'd never seen it because I wasn't a very big Beatles fan. I never paid much attention.
Yeah.
Until seeing that, and I'm watching, I was like, I've been there.
I would have lost my mind. But I figure everybody's been there.
I have been that John Lennon.
No way. You were?
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking did.
There's like a fucking just girl right there. But I didn't even notice until then you see it, and it's like, oh, that's fucked up. And then I'm like, oh, wait, shit.
They did that in that the Dirt movie too, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had to kick some girls out of the fucking house that they were practicing or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's a distraction.
It is.
It is.
And there's cooking to be done. So,
Exactly. And voting, I guess.
No, no. No voting or driving.
Yeah, but the suffrage action never happened, obviously. Two more here from the audience. Craigers is saying, Danny, I was sad my wife didn't want your version of Perfect played as the wedding song. Did not.
Yeah.
I don't know that they should have gotten married, though.
I think she's more of a country music person, to be honest.
Oh, he was on the cruise. I missed that cruise life, too.
Yeah.
That cruise was
well, nobody remembers
fucking
any
crazy.
of that.
No.
All we really remember is the meeting that Jared didn't come to, that he called for.
There's that, and I'll always remember the Jared. They really want you to go play Wonderwall. They do? He's laying on the floor. They really want it. They're begging for it.
We
remember-
posted it. It's on Instagram.
The last day when we did shows, when we walked in and he was just pissed drunk. It was after that meeting. We walked in.
we
He
were
goes,
placing bets on if he was gonna be there.
Surprise!
Man, I wish if we had gotten that on video, I would post it every day.
He blacked out on the floor, and the audience had left. We had all left. It was the end of the show. I don't know who got him out of there.
I
Because
think
he was
part of him is still there.
It might be, yeah.
Benny Canuck is asking, why do most artists play a half step down live?
I don't think most do.
Really?
No. I think there's a bunch of the older singers will, and it's mostly because your voice is going to get weaker over age. It's just a muscle. And at the end of the day, like when you're 50, 60, and I know Sebastian Bach does it a bunch, but those songs are so high. And he was like fucking like 21 when he was doing that. Like,
And on a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
you kind of have to. It makes it easier. It makes it more consistent. Ultimately, it's more often than not. It's like cool. I can hit those notes most of the time, but it's fucking hard being on the road.
It is.
You're doing it every night, and like it doesn't sound like well, sure, you can sing every day. Yeah, cool. But it's also all the other shit that goes on with touring, and it takes its toll. And bringing it down a half step or full step, it makes it more consistent and therefore more entertaining for people because they don't want you to fuck up. You don't want to fuck up. They've spent their hard-earned money to be there.
Yeah,
you don't want to be fucking struggling. You want to put on the best performance you can.
Yeah.
We saw at the 2019 Super Bowl, it was some local rapper and then Post Malone and then Aerosmith. And Aerosmith fucking sucked.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
His
Steven
voice,
Tyler's
his voice was completely blown out the whole time. I don't know if he was sick or maybe that's just how it is for him now. I don't know. But they probably should have came down several steps.
Well, it's the same thing as with those notes. Dreamer.
So high.
Dreamer. Doing that
So high.
at 60 or 70 or however old he is, like, you don't know that you can hit it. And, shit, the first time I saw you had opened up because we did a show with you on the tour bus, was you were opening up for Ozzy Osbourne. And we all stuck around because I hadn't seen Ozzy Osbourne live. And it was, one of those things where like, you can't not see him. But we were in the pit with the photographers and, when you're 2 feet away from them and you see them struggling through the song at that age, you're like, oh shit.
It's hard.
That's
it's
what,
hard.
That's what
There's
makes
a lot
it so,
that goes into it.
That's what makes it so impressive how long Ozzy's maintained his voice.
Yes,
like
it's
I don't understand
crazy.
how he still fucking does it.
Me neither.
He might be a cyborg or some shit.
I don't know how he's still alive.
Yeah, well, it's stem cells. He gets those stem cell treatments.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
for
know
sure.
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of what's his nuts. Keith Richards has been doing that shit for the same amount of time.
He's been swapping out blood.
Yeah. He does the infusions. He does the stem cells. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
You can afford that shit. Yeah. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be. It used to be like $45,000 a treatment. Now you can get it done for like $5,000 to $7,000 in the U.S.
How often do you need to get it done?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what Ozzy does. I have no idea how often it is, but I know people who get it done once or twice a year, depending on right. Yeah, I mean it's cheap. If you're a touring musician and that's part of keeping you fucking healthy and on the ball, that's nothing.
You don't even mean healthy no buzz. Like you retire or spend $10,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll
he's
pay
still
for itself
doing
in one show.
Why he's still doing though, I can't figure out.
He
where it's
fucking
just
loves it,
like,
apparently.
I guess.
That's what Bert said. Bert Koontz was his bodyguard for a while, and he said, "Fucking first of all, Ozzy just tunes everybody out. Like he doesn't, unless it's like a family member or one of his friends. People are walking by and doing stuff, and it's like they don't even exist. And people think, like I've had people mention it to me, and they're like, "Man, he's just fucking zone.
He made us all leave backstage so he could get ready.
Like
and,
like people think his brain is fucked up, and maybe it is. It's got to be to some degree, but then like Bert would start a conversation with, and he's immediately alert on. He just has learned over the time to tune that shit out.
He's been doing it for so long. He's seen all the stupid shit.
Yeah, he's got an elliptical on his bus, and Bert says he'll go for like 45 minutes and an hour, like full on at 140, 150 heart rate. This like a machine. This old man. There's no way I'm
Jagger
going to be
does
doing
something similar.
Yeah, Jagger does
he
10
does
miles
the
every
legs,
single morning.
Yeah.
Every single morning he does 10 miles
And
on
Bruce
the treadmill.
Springsteen just gets fucked up his ass all the time.
He got $500 million.
Fuck Bruce Springsteen.
I want to ask your thoughts on that because David Bowie, who I love, got 250. Springsteen got
For
500 million for his catalog.
Okay.
That's fucked, right? It's Bowie should have gotten more money.
How much did you say get?
Bowie got 250.
250 million?
Yes.
But how many?
Springsteen got 500.
What's the size of the catalog? I mean,
Bowie had 27 albums.
Springsteen's got
But
a
it's
lot.
how many of those are still consistently pulling numbers
Yeah.
is how it calculates.
Like Springsteen,
Is it really?
Springsteen and the Rolling Stones, I think, are the two most covered bands of all time, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's some of the older guys as well that are in that, but they're two of the most covered ever, and you have to pay,
It got me to thinking, how
and
much?
they're in a lot of movies too.
Yeah, how much would the Beatles catalog be worth or the Stones catalog? Because McCartney right now is 79.
Did he buy it back from
Michael Jackson, yeah. So he bought it back from Michael Jackson. And so they do own the rights. But with everybody getting out right now, Neil Young just sold his.
Everyone's selling.
Everyone. ZZ Top just sold theirs for 50.
Well,
I was
what's
surprised they got 50
Why
million.
is McCartney holding on to it? Now's the time to sell.
That's
it,
what I don't
think, right?
understand. But how much would
Does he
that be
fucking need
worth?
to?
No, he's a billionaire.
Well, it's
already,
so with Bowie, an average on a catalog sale is going to be about 12 years. So it's whatever it makes in 1 year times it by 12. That's what your check is. So if he's on 250 million, that means his collection's bringing in roughly around 21 million a year.
Holy shit. Okay.
So that's so it breaks down in multiples.
Well, that's not
Gotcha.
surprising.
Which then makes sense because Springsteen, even if it's just a couple of the songs, he's played everywhere all the time.
Born in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not like Nickelback. I was looking at it earlier when we were talking about them. Their catalog, and which they and their fucking record company still own, it brings in like 8 or 9 million a year just from replays. They don't do it like
Nickelback.
Yeah, 8 or 9 million a year of fucking passive income.
God damn it,
Yeah.
dude. You last night. I don't know if you were being serious
No,
last
Nickelback
night.
are fantastic. I want a Nickelback tour so bad.
Well,
You would go on
I'm-
tour with Nickelback.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Because you told the audience last night, and again, I was like, I'm going to ask you this when you're sober today. You said Chad Kroeger is one of the best writers of all time.
Oh, yeah. Incredible. And a multi-instrumentalist, like, just killer. Chad, right now, 50 grand a night. I get to ride on the jet. Belly kisses every day. I'm in.
Chad, so Nickelback.
Will you grow a mullet too?
Yeah, fuck
Oh,
it.
yeah. Go full Canadian.
Yeah.
not?
I will wear 100% denim, socks and all.
Technically, you guys are part of the same kingdom, right?
Yes.
The United one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we own them.
Yeah.
So are the Beatles and the Stones, too. Whose catalog goes for higher, Beatles or Stones?
Probably Beatles.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck off. I would have said the Stones.
You think so? I mean, the
Nah.
Stones have a lot of. They get played in music a lot.
I think there's not that much in it, but I think the Beatles are taking it.
Who's the greatest band of all time?
What the fuck kind of question is that?
You got to know. Everybody's got an answer. You have yours.
might
It's
be
I know yours is Lamb of God. You know mine's the Rolling Stones.
It might be Michael, dude.
Michael Jackson, no shit. After what he's done,
That doesn't,
I have
that
a
doesn't
hard
change
time-
his music.
But every time I hear a fucking Michael Jackson song, which is a lot, because ironically, as I get 2 kids, ironically, they play it a lot around kids, and I'm like,
Actually,
God
nah,
damn it, man.
You know what it probably goes? Just from like every song, just they don't miss AC/DC.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think the best song ever written, ever, and this is like barely even arguable, Don't Stop Believing. You go anywhere in the world, they know it.
Don't
Everyone
Stop
knows it.
Believing's number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your number one, though?
It's not my favorite song, but it's probably the best song ever written.
What is your favorite?
Walking in Memphis, Mark Cohn.
I'm a fucking conehead, dude. No way did you just say that.
Yeah.
That was unprompted, by the way. I've said this a million times on Ross Patterson Revolution. I get down on fucking Walking in Memphis, and I'm a fucking conehead, dude. Mark Cohn.
Hey, and fuck that Cher version.
Oh, God, it's terrible.
You know what? Haven't even heard it. Gonna keep it that way.
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
it, dude. Keep it that way.
There's a country version, too, of Walking in Memphis.
Yeah, recent one. It sucks.
If I'm going number one song for me personally that I never get sick of and it'll stop me wherever I'm at, it's Bittersweet Symphony.
Yeah.
That for whatever reason, that song, that and Rocket Man.
The strings
Yeah.
in the beginning, you can't not love it.
Elton has someone's unstoppable on Queen. I mean, have the countless just
Do you ever look at those old videos of Queen, like Under Pressure with isolated vocals of Freddie Mercury?
yeah.
It is fucking insane.
Sometimes I watch them and just think nobody knew he was gay. Nobody knew.
Yeah, nobody knew Liberace was gay either. Fuck out of here.
No one picked up on this.
No. But when I listened to Under Pressure, where it was Bowie versus Freddie Mercury, I was like, oh, shit, dude. Imagine recording that in the same booth with Freddie Mercury that day. You're just going to get housed.
No, just don't sing with Freddie Mercury. That's just a.
Bowie was no slouch. Although
No.
I think he made
He's great.
He made what in my estimation is a critical error in doing that song with the Stones, right? Where he and fucking Mick are this close to each other, dancing in the streets, and fucking they may as well have just fucked right there.
I think
They have fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's a different time.
no, they would still be fucking now if Bowie was alive. That's probably how he died.
That was an interpretive dance replay of them fucking.
That was them very subtly trying to let the world know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
that they were.
We've been inside each other.
That wasn't a secret, though. I mean, I don't think they've ever kept that a secret.
I don't think either of them have ever said it, but like they've very adamantly not denied it.
Yeah.
That sounds
Like, did you guys fuck? And they're like, where do you want to go for dinner?
Are we going to Vince Young Steakhouse? Where are we going for dinner?
Remember when I think it was Variety asked Vin Diesel if he was gay, and he goes, "I don't want to answer because I've got gay and straight fans." Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
He's married with kids. Like, what the fuck?
Come on, dude. Fucking.
You think Vin Diesel's gay?
Yes, I sure do, and I think that's great for him. You know what I mean?
I
Good
don't
for
think
him.
Vin Diesel's gay.
Good for him.
I would love to say he is, just because I'm not a big Vin Diesel
Fleetwood
fan.
Mac. Yeah, somebody said Fleetwood Mac.
Just lives life 6 inches at a time.
Yeah, dude.
Fleetwood Mac's got a pretty good catalog. The reason
They
I
do.
like Lamb of God so much, well, first that's just an opinion thing because I'm a huge metal
All
fan.
of music is subjective.
For
And
sure.
that's the whole thing.
But
about
Lamb of God is one of the metal bands where every single person in the band is a fucking expert at their fucking craft, right? And they don't miss ever, right? It's like Dream Theater plus the commercial success of Metallica put together. I think it's because it's so hard, a lot of people are just never going to listen to it. So in that
I
way,
always thought they were super accessible for being as heavy as they are.
yeah, I mean,
Are they still together?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they switched out drummers recently,
Gotcha.
but yeah, they're the core guys are still together.
Who's your favorite guitarist of all time? We had Zach Wilde on the show a few months ago. They all played all the days.
Have you ever met a person with bigger hands than Zach Wilde?
He was on Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, shaking hands with him is like someone's wearing one of those comedically large gloves.
No shit.
Like a Hulk hand.
Dave Matthews has hands like that too. He used to play the fucking. He used to play the top string, the E string with his thumb a lot.
I love Dave
Like he just
Matthews.
wraps his whole fucking hand around this giant Gibson guitar. I'm like, dude, you need to fucking go to the hospital.
This is a condition.
Dave Matthews is probably my Nickelback for you, where it's just like I'll get made fun of for Dave Matthews.
You're gonna call it a guilty pleasure?
No, I'm not.
I mean,
I love
Dave Matthews is a very good guitar player.
Oh, that whole band is excellent.
He played
The drummer.
He played fingerstyle guitar before a lot of people knew what it was, and he was doing it kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
and weaving it in. So yeah, he's pretty good.
I don't know my favorite guitarist ever. I have my favorite current guitarist, and he's a kid from Wales called Chris Buck. And he just, the sounds that guy makes are just next level.
Why is he not famous?
Chris Buck Band.
He's working on it, yeah.
Are you working with him?
No?
Oh, this says Canadian country music.
Okay,
that's not him.
I think his new band's called Cardinal Black, I think. But he just on YouTube and Instagram, it's just him playing, and he's outstanding. I've spoken to him a couple times online, but yeah, he's just super good.
Bill Schofield saying he lost his virginity card in a porta potty at a Creed concert.
Nice.
Oof.
They were playing with arms wide open.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know that was a Christian band the whole time.
They what?
I think so. With Arms Wide Open is for God, right? Isn't that for Jesus, Bob? Wasn't Creed?
No, I think wasn't that about his kid being born or some shit?
Yeah. That was about.
It was about the Antichrist.
Jesus Christ.
They're devil worshippers.
No, but Creed was for sure a Christian band during that time. There's a lot of Christian rock bands that came out after them.
Striper was a fucking Christian band.
trash.
Like there was a whole stage at Warped Tour one
Petra.
year that was all Christian bands. And then
Petra.
NoFX was on the other side.
Isn't Petra the one that wrote "God Gave Rock and Roll to Us" and then it got bought by somebody?
I think so.
I think it was Petra or some shit.
Nothing
like that.
makes me angry when I'm listening to a song and I'm starting to get into it, and then I realize it's on a Christian station, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it.
Kiss bought it from them.
I did that with a whole album.
Who was it?
Lauren Dangle. I don't know how to say her last name.
Oh, yes. I know who that is.
Incredible.
Yes.
Amazing. And I'm listening to all of it. And
I didn't know that was a...
posted something about it, and someone was like, "I didn't know you were into Christian music." Like,
There's some good metal band. Like
not traditionally.
August Burns Red is a Christian band. They fucking tear it the fuck up. I mean, they're very good, very good. And well, if you like metal,
Yeah.
they're pretty aggressive. If you don't like metal, you're not gonna like them.
Is it like Christian catfished? Like what do we call that? Like where you're into the band, but then you
I
find
think
out
it's
they're
called
Christian.
crossfished.
Crossfished?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Under Oath did that to me.
yeah. Well, the Under Oath was good too. Like they weren't like fucking out on tour like preaching to people and shit.
They were doing
just playing music.
No, they were doing backstage prayer and stuff. They were doing the
Yeah,
whole...
that's fine, but they weren't out on stage like making or talking shit about how the industry's full of devil people and shit.
No, they weren't baptizing
No,
fans.
they
and
were
stuff.
just playing music.
That's
I like
great.
those guys.
That'd be great, though, if you were just baptizing people live on stage.
like without him even knowing.
Yeah. Like, I'm all in for
You
that.
just got like a little fucking super soaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. You there. Come out of the crowd.
Bless you.
Do you believe in Christ? You going to tonight. We're going to baptize you
Is
live
that-
on stage.
Technically, that's assault and a hate crime, I think. Just drive.
Make some noise.
You say it real fast. Yeah. Christ, anything is possible. Make some fucking noise. Pew, 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 pew. Now's the
I have tested this a lot of times where it doesn't matter what you say, but if you like,
there's an
have that
inflection,
influx,
Yeah.
they're screaming. I used to do things like just like put sandwich orders in on stage and just watch them go wild. Like you guys are paying no attention.
No.
You can say anything right now.
They just want to scream. They just want to scream. Now's the point of the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. Someone who's inspired you, helped you become the person you are today. You've been through this before.
I have.
Who's helping you out these days?
A bunch of people. I've been very fortunate lately. I am going to go with one of my writing partners and business partner within a company called Assassinado. Beautiful tequila coming to you very soon. But Corey Hiamobi, he's getting it.
Okay.
He's getting it. He's one. You will meet him at some point. Well, no, no, I think he was on that tour when we were in Akron. Maybe he was. But one of the funniest people I know. He's one of the only people I allow to just call me to chat.
Yeah.
Because we'll just say stupid shit for like 2 hours and just cry with laughter. Incredible. But great songwriter as well. And yeah, we're doing a bunch of cool stuff.
That was one of my favorite shows. We did backstage at Akron.
That was really fun.
In Akron. God, we were rocked. That was a lot of drinks that night. Yeah.
Yeah, my solo tours are absolute shit shows. Like fun shows, but like there is a bottle of tequila disappearing before I go on stage.
You will literally, like, people will scream out shit to you, and you'll be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll play it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
I saw you play maybe 5 or 6 covers that night, and people just screaming out from the crowd.
I've been paying the same guy for 2 years to follow him around and just ask for a Wonderwall at every fucking concert. It's only cost me like $1,200.
Yeah.
Chumbawamba.
No, I get that all the time, thanks to
That's
you.
because of Jared's a cunt. That's why.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I get knocked down.
Yeah.
You played it, I think, in Akron.
I did.
Yeah.
You played it on the cruise too,
Yep.
and it was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like it seemed like you were getting ready for another song, and this,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we were falling down and getting back up.
Yeah.
You're not doing any more cruises anytime soon, are you?
No.
No. That's all done now, isn't it?
That was the last thing I did before the whole pandemic thing.
Well, you did
shit.
another one right after that. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Same cruise ship, right?
Finished February 7th. Yeah, exact same ship.
But you probably actually made money on the
Had
second
the same
one.
bartender. Oh, we made a piss ton of money. It was incredible.
Did you really?
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have gone.
We didn't make any money.
No.
fucking
Remember how much
cruise.
Jared told us we were going to make?
Yeah.
And then we're leaving and he gives us like enough for our bar tab.
To be fair, though, our bar tabs were pretty high.
Yeah.
Let's-
I think mine was 1,800. Like I
Yeah.
got it because
They're
they
all
just
the same.
slip it under
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
You could have done this in cash. I feel like you didn't need to waste your check.
No.
The cash would have fit in this envelope.
Danny, tell everybody where they can find you when the new album's coming out and all that fun stuff.
Oh, well, no, the new album's out. It came out a few months ago. It's called See What's on the Inside, available on all of those places that we went over earlier that don't pay us. Our new single right now is at radio. It's Never Gonna Learn. And yeah, go check it out. We did a wonderful job, if I do say so myself. I shot the whole thing behind the scenes. I've got a book coming out of all that so people get a sneak peek. Other than that, Asking Alexandria on all the social media stuff.
Yeah, you have a gajillion followers on Facebook and all that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook in years, but
Crazy.
probably.
Yeah. You don't check it? Somebody else's social media? No. Smart.
I absolutely despise social media.
Same.
That's
I'm
why
a big fan.
mine is like little just photos from my life, and I have everything turned off.
Yeah.
It is not an open forum. I do not care for your opinion. Here's a photograph. Like it or do not like it.
Look
I do
at
not
this
care.
photograph.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah.
some people
Yeah.
said that.
There we go.
Boom.
Bring it right back.
Yeah.
Nickelback.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. Chad, hit up Danny. Okay? Go on tour together. For D'Anthony Holloway, Danny Horse now. I'm going to speak this into existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Ross Patterson. We are the Drinkin' Bros podcast. Good night, everyone.